Welcome to the information session for the Future Impact 2025 investment competition. We'll just bring everybody in and we're hearing all the beep, beep, beeps as they come through. It's always very exciting. All right. I'm going to get started. So India, confirming you've got everybody that's in and we're recording. So I'm going to get started. So hello, everybody. My name's Yolanda Beatty and I'm the founder of Future Impact. I'm delighted to be kicking off our 2025 investment competition with a record amount of interest from students and another fantastic coordination effort by unit. And also, many records happening. We've got the record number of cases happening for this competition as well, and a whole new opportunity to be able to engage students post the competition, which I'll be telling you about shortly. So what to expect tonight? I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction, a reminder to those who aren't familiar with Future Impact, who we are, what we do, and then we're just going to go through each of the challenges. We know that you have received the cases beforehand, so we're expecting some good questions. The way we're going to do it tonight is we're going to do a 7-minute or so presentation from each of the organisations to go through their case, and then enough time for questions at the end. We've got a fair bit of content on those slides, so don't worry too much about that. We're not going to go through it item by item. We're just going to talk through at a fairly high level the nature of those cases we know you can read, so there's plenty of time for questions. So a bit of background on Future Impact. We were launched about 8 years ago now with an explicit purpose to bring the investment management industry together, and now also the investment advice industry together to really pool forces in their efforts to attract and retain diverse investment talent with a focus on women. So we do this by helping great talent like you launch and build fulfilling careers in now investment management and investment advice, as well as working with everybody within the industry to inspire leaders to create the environment where everyone can do their best work and really support people in the industry to build fabulous careers. The partners that we have the privilege of working with are here on the slide, and several of them represented here tonight. So you can see we're privileged to be able to have a number of leading superannuation funds, fund managers, and investment advice firms coming together to fund the work that we do, but even more importantly, put their people in front of great talents like all of you, the students in our community, but also the young professionals that have left university and might be working in relevant feeder roles and are keen to explore pathways into investment management and advice. The way we do what we do is we have 3 key pillars. It's all about informing and educating young people to understand more about these career paths. Our investment competition is a big part of what that pathway then looks like as well, to really get the experience that you need and understand and build those technical skills. And a new flash mentoring platform that I'm going to talk to about in a moment. As well as, critically, then ultimately providing you early access to the intern, grad, and early career opportunities that are available through our network. I mentioned Career Connect in that earlier slide, which is a new platform that we've just launched. It's literally about a month old, and the focus on at the moment is all about bringing students and young professionals onto that platform. It's a flash mentoring platform that matches you with professionals in the investment management and advice industry so that you can have conversations with people who have already walked the path that you want to walk on and get inside knowledge about the industry so that you're able to best position yourself for those opportunities when they come up, but also be able to have conversations around investment ideas and market trends so you can build your curiosity Can you hear me now? Were you hearing me as I was going along there? Or was I just been
It cut
talking
out
to myself?
for cut out for a couple of seconds, Yolanda.
Okay, cool. But only a couple of seconds. I suddenly just got I've been rabbiting on without anybody listening to me. Thank you. I don't know how someone just turned off my microphone. Okay, so all about helping you have those conversations. Everybody on this call is welcome to register. It's a very simple process to be able to register your interest and complete your profile, connect with purpose, and then schedule one-on-one virtual coffee chats to exchange ideas that matter. So, but all of those that are completing cases as part of this, you'll be able to upload your case to that platform and use that as a basis for great conversation. So watch out for more information there. As usual, one of the things that makes this competition one of the most engaged investment competitions across universities is the incredible prizes that we offer. And as you can see, this year is no different, with paid internships on offer for each member of the winning team in locations across the country from a range of different organisations. Many of the runners-up also get the opportunity to either apply for or are offered these internships. So it's an incredible exposure for all of the finalists in this competition. You know the marking criteria, it's in your pack. You'll see that we've got a range of different pillars for that marking both content and analysis and also your presentation. So watch closely for what we'll be looking out for when it comes to your assessment. The speakers tonight are going to be talking through each of those cases. I won't be doing detailed bios because you can do that yourself. But we'll be running through this order with starting off with Chloe Brain from the Head of Private Equity and Unlisted Assets at Colonial First State, talking through that real estate challenge. Then James Debs from Canaccord Genuity, Ying Lau from Platinum, Adam Alexander from Schroders, Hayden from QIC, and then last but not least, Sophia from TDM Growth Partners. Without further ado, let's get into the presentations, starting off with Colonial First State and Chloe presenting the real estate case study. Thanks so much, Chloe.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for listening. I'll apologise in advance. I'm just in the airport lounge, so if you hear background noise, that will explain it. So the case study, Yolanda, I think
I just want to say, is that screen sharing properly?
No.
No. Okay, I'm just going to read.
It's okay. I'll let you know when it's come up. It doesn't appear to have come up yet. India is Yolanda, she's rejoining, I imagine.
I imagine that's the case. Yes, there she is.
I think perhaps Chloe, if you're on a tight time constraint, maybe it's possible you go through it just verbally. I think the participants also have the briefs in front of them. It was emailed to them this morning.
That's fine. Is there any chance, Nicole, of having you share it on the screen at the same time?
I
Or
will-
India doing the sharing?
I think India might be a bit good at this one.
Apologies.
Chloe, do you have your slides there that you could share? Just your ones?
I don't have them in the right format. What I can do is just sort of kick off, and perhaps when India or Nicole, you can try and get them up on screen on your end. That might be the best way to go, Yolanda, and I'll just sort of kick off on that basis. Unfortunately, that might be the quickest way to go. But just sort of, I guess maybe I'll just talk through each sort of slide and working off, I guess, a different pack on my side to everyone on this call. So maybe just take the case study in the order that you can see it. But obviously, this is a property case study. CFS is an investor in Terralith Unlisted Retail Fund, or TERF, and the aim here is to run a co-investment. So it's a model, build out a model relating to a co-investment opportunity that has come through that retail fund. Overall, the retail fund that CFS is invested in is an open-ended core plus property fund which targets retail centres. Oh, here we go, fantastic. And the co-investment opportunity is focused on Bayview Village. Wonderful. This is the first slide here. So Bayview Village is a sub-regional shopping centre. It's located in Western Sydney, and it's a non-discretionary retail asset, which means that you've got anchor tenants in it, such as supermarkets and regular foot traffic coming through. It's largely a convenience hub in a growing neighbourhood. And as I mentioned, there's an opportunity for CFS to have access to a $25 million co-investment in this opportunity. More broadly, the CFS property portfolio is overweight industrial and underweight retail, and I'll come to that further on in the pack because there's some metrics about our current exposure. And then also as part of the case study, there is some information relating to a value creation plan. And that really is a plan around delivering centre upgrades, releasing initiatives, and really looking to drive additional revenue for the centre and to improve the overall return profile. So if we move to the next slide. Wonderful. So this really sets out the parameters of what you're looking to do as part of this case study, and ultimately you're looking to present an investment committee recommendation. We've broken down the case study into the 5 main areas that you should be thinking about when structuring your paper. So first of all, you're thinking about the location, the tenant mix, catchment demographics. Does this make sense? Is this actually fundamentally a good investment? You'll be doing market research on the non-discretionary retail sector and thinking about the thematic alignment of the investment relative to the existing CFS property portfolio. There's a piece in there around thinking about the business plan, looking at the value creation plan, looking at feasibility, identifying any issues you might see around execution risk, and also what you think might be happening in the non-discretionary retail sector going forward. So just that broader macro view. You'll also be provided, or should have been provided already, with so both a PDF setting out the case study, but also an Excel document. In that Excel document, it's a model template with a cash flow model that will enable you to go out, complete that model based on the information provided in the case study, and ultimately derive the levered IRR, the equity multiple, and the distribution yield. And you'll then be able to use that information to again assess the ultimate impact on the CFS property fund. There'll also be room in that model for you to think about sensitivity and key drivers. the other piece is around portfolio construction, as I mentioned earlier. So looking at how the potential investment sits alongside the CFS portfolio, and then ultimately coming towards the team, the winning team, the team. Looking at the case study will be focused on an investment recommendation. So should we proceed with the co-investment? And if so, why should we do that? What are the risks of doing that? And any other areas that you think we might need to delve into as part of due diligence. Moving on to the next slide, I think from here on it's pretty self-explanatory. So here's some details around Bayview Village, some details around the site, the occupancy, anchor tenants, how many shops are in there, weighted average lease, which is really important, and the last valuation. The next slide steps you through, I guess, the ultimate manager investment thesis. So why is this relevant? Why might you consider this asset within the portfolio? It also talks about the value creation plan that I spoke about earlier. So what that might mean for potential upside for the investments case. And then following that, moving to the next slide, we've got some key investment inputs around that value creation plan just to help you as you build out that upside case. And as you think about it when you're sensitizing the model. Moving then to the next slide, you've got the breakdown of the current tenancy profile, which will help you in some of your qualitative analysis around the investment opportunity. And then in the next slide, we have the investment inputs from the CFS current portfolio perspective. So that sets out currently how the portfolio is exposed and what the targets are. So where the CFS portfolio would ultimately like to head, and that's in the right-hand column around the target percentages. Moving then on to the next slide, this is pretty much the outputs that you'll see when you look at the inputs you'll see when you look at the cash flow model that's been provided in the Excel document. There'll be some gaps in that Excel that you'll need to get information from. All of that information is included within these slides and within the pack. It's also all within the PDF that should have been shared with you this morning. And then I think the last slide is really, this is what the cash flow model looks like. And again, you will find this in the cash flow model and in the Excel document that has been provided to the teams. That is the case study from the property side. So happy to answer any questions that might have come through.
Yeah, anybody who has questions. And thank you so much, Chloe. That was a great run through.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah, great.
I was just want to ask that whether the PowerPoint slide will be give to us after this meeting, because I think
Yes.
I have missed screenshot one of the slide.
Yeah, you will receive the PowerPoint, and it's exactly the same as what was shared with you this morning via the PDF.
Yeah, sure. Thank you a
Great,
lot.
thank you. Next person, I don't see names there, so I'm going to go IK. That's all I can see. Your question?
I'd just like to ask, where would we be able to find the workbook with the cash flow model?
Unit should have sent that out this morning. If they haven't, we will get that resent.
Yep, just confirming that. Apologies for missing that. That'll be emailed to all participants by tonight.
Great, thanks,
And-
Nicole. Yep.
And likewise, would also like to ask, would we be getting additional points or marks for building out our own model?
No, you'll be given an assessment based on your modeling, the modeling that you've done, and we would expect that you would need to do more modeling beyond just the template that's been provided by CFS. That's to get you started. So there aren't any specific intentions to give extra beyond just what you get, the quality of the modeling and the quality of your recommendation.
Yeah. So going above and beyond the model that we were provided should be viewed favorably, right?
Well, the quality of your analysis and your investment recommendation will be viewed favorably.
Right.
So if you feel like you need to do more to get the quality of analysis and investment recommendation, then you should absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Chloe,
right.
is there anything that you wanted to say in addition to that?
No, that's correct. Yeah, no.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to clarify that are the winning teams only limited to getting an internship in that particular case company, or they can choose from any of the six? So let's say if I take Live 360, that's by TDM, and if
Yeah.
we win, do we only get an internship in TDM, or we can select any of the six?
No, you can select any of the six. So that's a different process. Yeah. Can I suggest we focus questions on the cases, and then I can answer questions about the competition at the end of the call?
Sure, thanks.
No problem. Any other questions for CFS for Chloe? No? Because she's leaving to catch a plane after this. So this is your last chance to ask Chloe questions on the real estate case study.
Will a rent roll be provided for us?
No, you've been given everything that you'll be provided.
Yeah. Right. Right. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? No? All right. Chloe's off to catch a plane.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you so
everyone.
much for your time and for making this work in the middle of the Qantas Lounge. Really appreciate it. Have a great trip and speak to you soon. Thanks, Chloe. Okay, next up we have James, who's talking about the core duration fund. James, over to you.
Thank you, Yolanda. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining today's Future IM information session. Look, we're going to explore a real-world investment case from an institutional fixed income space, and I think probably one that actually challenges you to think like a bit of a macro strategist or a portfolio manager. The case centers on a decision made or faced really by Canaccord Core Advisors, a US-based asset manager with over 100 billion of AUM. Probably one way to probably look at this in particular is if you're managing billions of dollars in bonds, how would you decide when to buy a government security at an auction or really in the secondary market? But slide 2, Yolanda, if that's all right. Or yes, that's it. The fund in question is a core duration fund, or CDF, a $20 billion portfolio focused on US Treasuries, agencies, and investment grade credit. The US Treasury are reopening the benchmark 10-year note, and the fund manager must decide, well, as you as the fund manager really should decide, should you participate in the auction or wait and buy in the secondary market. The core duration fund is on slide 3, Yolanda. The core duration fund is designed really to provide investors with income and obviously capital preservation. So with duration close to the Bloomberg US Aggregate Bond Index, it allows up to really 30% in corporates and 10% in non-USD securities hedged. And there's obviously a little bit more in the fund mandates and constraints as well, the way you can actually consider. So I think probably a question that you'd want to ask yourself as well is how do you balance the opportunity that presents itself with really discipline if your mandate is very, very conservative. So really every trade must actually align with the fund's risk profile and the benchmark sensitivity as well. So just consider that when you go through the case study. On slide 4, it just goes in a little bit more detail with the auction details and some of the market context as well. But I think the market context is actually just the macro backdrop. So the Treasury is issuing 42 billion of a 10-year note. It's expected to yield around 4.28. The auction is at a uniform price, and the market context really includes, which is definitely a consideration when you're really evaluating whether you should invest in this type of auction. So the Fed's fund rate, as you can see there, is 4.33%. Inflation, core PCE is at 2.8%. Unemployment's at 4.17%. Softening, but obviously no recession. And there's obviously strong foreign demand for treasuries. So again, is it really the right time to lock in a 10-year yield, or is there more room for rates to rise and for you to hold off? Slide 5 and 6. Are you just on the next slide? Yep. I think just the investment rationale. Is that the slide? Sorry, back. One more back, sorry. Yeah, there we go. The investment rationale. So what's obviously the macro case for buying now, and does this trade support the fund's goals as well as future objectives? Number two are the value drivers and risks. So what could moving yields over the next 12 to 24 months, and really how do Fed policy, inflation, and fiscal deficits actually play into the portfolio? And then over on the bottom of that slide for valuation methodology, so just compare the current yields to historical averages and use really the break-even inflation, real yields, and term premium analysis to see really, is this bond cheap? Is it fair? Is it relatively expensive? When comparing it to other past auctions, the current market at the moment, or if the auction will be potentially soft on demand. So just on the stakeholder impact. So just thinking about obviously how this trade affects the portfolio based on the duration, sector allocation, liquidity. Look at the benchmark alignment as well and do some research on that. And then obviously based on what we've provided, stakeholder perception as well. So look at really the clients, rating agencies, and internal committees that you would have to look at and somewhat position this to. So how do you really justify a trade that's right for a trade that's right for the portfolio, but and it obviously does that bode well as well. So just some of the closing remarks that I'd probably make. So really your challenge is to make a confident, well-supported recommendation. Should you bid into the auction in order to participate so you're able to allocate to your fund? If so, what's the appropriate size and yield that would match based on the allocations within the fund? Would you change your view? Would you either participate or would you sit back and wait, obviously, to see on how that performed and allocate to another security in order to meet the target as well? So I'll pause there and see if there's any questions.
Great. Who's got any questions? The great case study. All of them are excellent. Any questions?
I just want to add that there was obviously Treasury spiked after Liberation Day, so there was probably a quote out there that bond markets control all markets. So I just want to leave it out there to show you how cool my job is.
Yeah. And often viewed as the less sexy part of the asset class mix, but arguably quite technical, and certainly the macro implications are huge.
Yep.
Who has questions for James? He's also going to be jumping off, so this will be your last chance to ask James questions. Any questions? Is that someone unmuting themselves, or is that someone who's just joined and needs to mute themselves? There might be someone who needs to mute themselves. Okay, great.
And sorry, I just want to probably add as well, just further context. There's obviously right ways and wrong ways of obviously going about this, but obviously the way that you position it and the way that you assess and look into the fund and understand the rationale, whether you should participate or you shouldn't participate, or you should buy on secondary and wait until the options are done. There's obviously multiple angles where you can on your approach, but on top of that, it's actually just the critical thinking behind the strategy and the way that you somewhat position your ideas, which is key.
Beautiful. All right, well, let's move on. Thanks so much, James.
Thank you.
And appreciate you need to fly as well, so thank you. Moving on now to Ying from Platinum, talking through our Chinese equities case study.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ying from Platinum. Just a brief summary of Platinum. We are active global equity managers trying to deliver returns for our clients over the long term. We only do equity. Our investment philosophy is, in simple words, is we're just trying to find the mispricing in the market. And from time to time, there's always, opportunities in the market where stock price was deviated from their fair value or true value from our analysis. I'm working for the Platinum International Fund, one of the largest fund of the company. It is a diversified portfolio of companies, investment in industries sectors, different industries. Also from geography point of view, we invest in both developed market as well as emerging markets. Next slide, please. Your task, we are looking at opportunities in Chinese markets. We have identified Guizhou Maotai as one of the potential stocks. So your task is to analyze the company and provide investment recommendation. So your decision recommendation will be either buy or sell to avoid. And bonus point is whether you can short this company. If you can short, what are the criteria as the investors you have to meet to short these companies? In your analysis, just one point I want to add is you need to have high convictions. If you don't feel you have high convictions, can you please do more research? So either buy or sell or short, please have high convictions. In your analysis, your research, please, I would like to see how you, the products, how in your research, how the products, the brand histories, demand supply of the product, and whether it's a single product or a series of products. What are the main, advantage of the product, and also the production process, which is quite important, making this company quite unique. Also the company background, what are the ownership structures, management background, histories, their distribution channels, how they sell their product is also quite unique for this company. And also from market point of view, the market cap. Sorry, just back to the on that slide. Yeah. Liquidities, and from earnings point of view, what do you see? I want you to have forecast for the earnings at least for the next 5 years. Also the capital management, and there's a recent activities by the companies which kind of improve their capital management. And the valuation, finally the valuation, I don't mind what kind of valuation methods you use, but with I would recommend to limit your assumptions. So the less assumptions you have, probably the more objective your models or your valuation will be. You can have your own models, or you can use some other models, but the simple, clean is the best. Next slide, please. Just some things to consider for when you analyze these companies, the demand supply conditions of the product, and the cultural, historical background and political background before and now. That is really, really important for this company. And also the brand value and the stories. I wanted to find out the uniqueness of the product as well as the company. And distribution channels reform. They have been going through distribution reform for a while. That's good, and pros and cons, and how they manage this process. Also, what are the risks do you think is important? Yeah, valuation methods. As I mentioned, doesn't matter what valuation you use, simple and clear is the best. Just more emphasis on your final recommendations. You're trying to build your your conviction levels to, you have to convince your investment, your portfolio manager, until you have high convictions. Recommend you have build your cases. Next slide, please. Just some useful readings, research history of the company as well as the product. I think they are widely available from from public places. Also, the background on China's drinking culture, how the business conducted, why the product is consumed in what circumstances. That's why they're building up the demand for the company's product. Financials, if you want to build models, the historical financials will be available from Yahoo Finance, or if you don't have a professional like Bloomberg or FactSet. Company report is I think, the best source and the true source of information. Some of I think the original one was in Chinese, but you can use translate whatever tools to translate to English. And this is a very large cap company, so there's a lot of useful informations in English. Next one, please. Next slide.
Is that the right slide there, Ying?
Yeah, the next one.
No, that's So I had that one. So that useful readings, and then going on to the product.
Yeah. Is it appearing? It doesn't seem to on my screen, but I can just go through it.
So yeah, so I've got on the screen now the product. I think whether Teams is having a bit of a meltdown because we've got so many people on the call.
Okay.
So right now
Yeah,
on the slide that talks to the product.
I'll just give a like simple introductions of like the high level items like I would like to see. Like the product, it is number one liquor brand in China. How come how it becomes number one? That's the research. Your research should be included, and this is a very unique product. Also, there's a constant limited supply, and there's always excess demand, which created this always imbalance of in terms of the demand supply situation. Next slide. Is it a company? Is it appearing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It's 60% owned by the Guizhou provincial government. It's effectively the parent company, so it's the government owned. In terms of the distribution channels, they expanding a lot of direct sales. There's also online sales. Just want you to analyze what are the benefits of they going into online or direct sales. Also, there's a potential because their factory prices is always fixed for quite a while. Is there any potential for the wholesalers to get higher price and then to match the retail market? And the negative is there's a limited investor relation access, but there's a lot of available information out there. Next one, the stocks, quite large. The next slide, quite large market cap. Earning growth is the visibility is quite high. So I want you to know, I want you to analyze to research how come they have like clear earning growth in the next few years. There's a lot of they have been doing capital returns, so that's better capital management. Also, from your analysis, is that the valuations is attractive or not? The final slide is the valuation method we use in Platinum International Fund. It's basically implied cost of capital method. We just plug in the current market price and then pop it back to cost of capital compared to the current cost of capitals. Anything above the line, the security market line, is to tell us it's attractive. So overall, I think I would like to see not not the fundings, but how do you analyze your fundings and come up with your conclusions? That's it from me.
Great.
Any questions?
Thanks, Ying. Any questions? Thank you, CK. Cecilia, great, thank you.
Hi, I just have a question. When we're considering whether to buy or short, are we assuming that the rest of the portfolio is just a passive market portfolio or some other stocks that, I don't know, maybe like has a different risk compared to the market?
That's a great question. So you can analyze whether this company, the correlation with the rest of the, because we are global portfolios, we have European stocks, we have US stocks. So how this company in correlation with other, assuming like US market, European market. So that's one of your consideration as well. So just assuming this is a global portfolio.
Okay, thank you.
DJ. I can't see your full names. I just see your initials.
Wait, me?
Yeah, that's you. Who's ever speaking now? Yeah, ask your question.
So like I'm looking at the booklet right now that was sent to the email, and for this case study, it has like all of these like graphs and like Excel spreadsheets. Will we get like a full link to the spreadsheet in total for this case study?
No, you just got what's in the pack.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Thank you. NT.
Yeah, just very quickly, if we do plan on pitching a short, do we need to consider things like the costs to fund the short and like short weighting in the book?
Not for this case.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Great questions. OY.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. Could I ask you, is there any time horizon for this investment?
Great questions. We are long-term investors, but the market always moves. So we consider long-term, but when the market moves, we have to move with the market. So it's your call.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? NT, you've still got your hand up. Did you have another question?
Oh no, I'll undo that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, cool, no problem. And while I remember it, I've just been informed by India, back to the CFS question on the question of the Excel spreadsheet. That's actually linked in the document. So there is a link in the document for the CFS model spreadsheet, but not for this one. This one you need to build it yourself. Any other questions for Ying? No? Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Ying. Great.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yes, sorry,
to
PG.
interrupt.
Yes, go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, like, from the all explanations, I get that we are looking at do we invest in the company or not. So would you rather say that it's just an investment decision that do we want to invest or not?
No, you need to do your full recommendation and analysis to demonstrate your conviction and your rationale.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
No worries. Any other questions? I think we're good. All right, thank you, Ying.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to Adam now. Schroders, what have we got? Let's get started on this one.
Okay, Yolanda, I can only see the last useful reading slide on the screen.
Oh, we got this other challenge where I haven't been able to move.
Just might need
Okay,
a
I'm gonna stop sharing and reshare and hopefully not have the whole thing go crazy again. Hold on a moment.
Thank you. think you're on mute, Yolanda.
I'm back. Let's see if I can get this working this time. All right, can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see that.
Hooray. What a thing. Okay, over to you, Adam.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Good evening, everyone. I'm Adam Alexander, Portfolio Manager at Schroders, and I work in the Australian Equities team. So the task that we are setting you is a real world example to invest in a listed stock on the ASX, which is NextDC. And I want to just frame up how and why we're looking at NextDC. So the theme that is pervasive amongst all our lives at the moment is digital transformation and AI. That chart on the right there just shows how the big tech, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, and Alphabet, how much money they are now investing in AI. And all that AI and compute needs to find a home. So we're looking for investments in Australia where we can find an adequate return. There's a lot of money going in. No one knows who is going to win the race of AI and whether or not there's returns at the end of it. So I've given some background there by 2030, and that's sort of our time horizon that we look to invest on. And by 2030, there's going to be about $2 to $4 trillion going into the AI market. It's going to be that big. And so we want to find a company in Australia and work out whether or not there is, NextDC is exposed to this thematic and whether or not the services they offer are able to make a genuine return. So on the next slide, if we move from the theme to the company, so NextDC is listed on the ASX. It's in the top 100. It's the largest data center provider in Australia. And according to their own view of themselves, they stand at the forefront of digital transformation. So part of the task is going to be working out whether your analysis agrees with them and in fact their product is the best in the market, who their customers are, what their growth prospects are, how much capital it's going to cost to deliver their pipeline. You can see from the map that I've put on that slide, they have data centers in every state in Australia. They've also started building in Asia. They've just signed their first contract in Kuala Lumpur. And so they're definitely putting capital in the ground and their customers are coming to sign contracts with them. So I'm interested to see when you build out your models, how long it takes to develop this pipeline, how much capital it takes, how many customers they need, who their customers are, and are those customers spending enough money to be able to buy the services that NextDC offer. So in terms of the task, which is on the next slide, I think it's very easy to get caught up in the hype of AI. And at Schroders, what we really focus on is, good companies and compelling stories don't always make for great investments. So that chart I showed earlier, definitely there's a lot of money going in. You can make a great story that AI is going to come out with some really great use cases, but whether or not NextDC generates a good return for our shareholders, that's what I want you to work out in this task. So position yourself as a member of the Australian Equities research team at Schroders, and your task is essentially to research NextDC from the ground up. We want a written report, a valuation of the shares, and a supporting model on NextDC. And the conclusion will be to provide a recommendation to the portfolio managers as to whether you think this would be a good investment for our clients. Now, the recommendation is just the end point. It's important, but how you get there is far more important. We want to see a lot about your modelling, your scenario analysis, your reasoning, the sources that you've used to get to your recommendation. And so I've put a list. This is on, in terms of building the model, you definitely want to look at all the aspects of companies. That's revenue, EBITDA, the margins, how much CapEx they're spending, the balance sheet, where they're getting their capital from and their cash flow. Schroders is definitely a long-term investor. So I would suggest taking a minimum 5 to 10 year view out. And even when NextDC has completed their build out of all their data centers. So we need a long run model, the P&L, the cash flow, the balance sheet, how that looks over the next decade, and definitely include a high case, a base case, or a low case, a high case, and what your base case is within your model, and some sensitivity analysis around that. What if more money goes into developing AI? What if the hyperscalers cut their budget? So where you get your information from, everything must be publicly available. So if your brother or sister works at NextDC, don't get him bringing anything home from the company. We want anything, it's ASX releases, company press releases, the company website. A good tip would be next Friday, NextDC report their results for the financial year 25. It'd be interesting if you got on the analyst call, listen to what some of the professional analysts are asking management, and that will point you in the direction of some of the key points that we're looking to see that come back to us in your report. And it's really important to sift through some of the noise that we're hearing in the market and come back to fundamentals of valuation and investment. So I might leave it there, Yolanda, and just see if there's any questions on the task.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Thanks, Hannah.
Hi, so when you say we need to provide a written report, traditionally stock pitches you need to have like a slide deck, right? So how would you recommend us to display all our working?
Yeah, it's a slide deck. It's all presented on a slide deck, but you would provide your Excel spreadsheet to provide your modeling as well.
Yep.
So the written report is just another word for slide deck, basically.
It'd be the accompanying text around your slide deck. Yep.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, everybody. Moving on to our next case for tonight. And we have Hayden from QIC talking through a venture capital case. Thanks, Hayden.
Thanks, Yolanda. So I guess this case is a little bit unconventional in the context of the other ones we've kind of heard from tonight as well, but really want to kind of test students around investing in energy strategy and infrastructure for the AI era. So Adam had kind of just done a good primer there on sort of the themes and the market tailwinds that are at play from a global perspective. Look, a quick little bit about QIC for those that aren't aware. We're a Brisbane headquartered institutional investment manager with over 127 billion of assets under management. I sit within the private equity and venture capital team, predominantly focused on our direct venture strategy, but we've got a number of asset classes across that mix. We're uniquely positioned as an organisation, being government owned and managing about half of our capital being government money, and then the remaining capital on behalf of institutional clients like superannuation funds, both here and pension funds overseas as well. Next slide, Yolanda. So in the context of our direct venture strategy, we have a venture capital arm called QIC Ventures. And what we do in QIC Ventures is back exceptional founders taking Australian and Queensland, specifically Innovation Global. So this is something we've been doing since 2016 in different forms, but really it harnesses what we've been doing globally since about 2005, investing in the best in breed venture capital managers globally and the companies along that journey as well. Queensland is a unique market. It's in the context of the majority of capital is in New South Wales, then Victoria, but Queensland being a growing component of that. But Australia as a pond is naturally smaller in that global venture capital landscape. But really, through a lot of investment from the Queensland government and a lot of tailored support and policy, we've aimed to be catalytic around the ecosystem that's building here, all the way from really early stage companies, so pre-seed startups that are just forming, all the way through to scale ups and growth stage companies as well. And so this is an area that we focus on. And in the context of this AI era that we're going into as well, there's a lot of exciting investment opportunities that sit in that mix too. And excitingly, in addition to government capital, it's also doing a good job of bringing in superannuation fund money into these types of strategies. Next slide, Yolanda. So really the challenge being posed to the teams is how Queensland and how Queensland can lead the next wave of digital and energy transformation, and how QIC can best position itself on that journey as well. So obviously, there's the two components of that, why energy matters in this next era, and obviously you can do a lot of great research around that component, but obviously every AI model is highly energy intensive, and more broadly beyond what you would view as your typical AI applications, being helping you write a university assignment as well. There's a lot of exciting innovations around artificial intelligence with regard to automation, advanced manufacturing, and a big focus particularly for countries like Australia, but globally around national sovereignty and security, and bringing pieces back onshore as well, and the clean energy lens that sits around that. And Queensland is pretty well positioned to win in that market, that we think, based on a number of initiatives on behalf of the government, as well as our unique positioning as well in terms of land availability and other factors as well. Next slide, Yolanda. So really, in terms of the task that we're asking you to explore, is we really want you to develop an investment strategy that shows how Queensland and QIC can be leaders in this transformation from an Australian and obviously global perspective as well. So this is I guess when I've said unconventional before, it's an investment strategy that you're proposing how more broadly you can invest into this global tailwind, and how Queensland can be best positioned there. And I think thinking about that from two contexts, both QIC Ventures specifically, how we can invest in startups and scale-ups, and along that journey and ecosystem to leverage Queensland's unique capabilities, as well as how we integrate with the broader QIC platform. So thinking how our real estate team can be involved, our infrastructure team too, our private debt team in that mix as well. And essentially your broader investment strategy around investing in this AI era should be commercially viable, but should be something you'd be confident to present to the QIC investment committee for a strategy to pursue. Next slide as well, Landa. So to help guide your response and presentation, I think there's a lot of positioning and the sort of why it matters component. So recommend looking at specifically looking at that global macro context as to what are the tailwinds that are driving this and why it's important, and also taking a look and having a lens to what other governments are doing globally to help incentivize innovation in their respective countries, but also that attracting of capital and the deployment of capital into investments in and around the AI ecosystem. Once you've set up a good context as to why this is happening, why it matters, and what others are doing globally, taking a lens to what Australia, but specifically Queensland, is doing or could be doing and has the unique ability to do to win in this space as well. I think that'd be, obviously something really powerful from QIC's lens there to position articulate how Queensland will win in that space. And the last bit in terms of an area to explore there as well is around what we call ecosystem mapping, but essentially it's about identifying, and this could be via the way of essentially a network map, for example, or potentially a list of names of both companies and corporates and players in the market. Doesn't have to be exhaustive, but it's a representative list of who can kind of be connected in that ecosystem, because I guess what we have learned along our journey as well is it's firstly not a not a one player. It's not a winner takes all market here, but we all have to work together collaboratively on that journey as well. So bringing in the right parties into that mix is pretty important. So doing a good job with ecosystem mapping. And in terms of what you'll be assessed from the quantitative analysis for this investment. It's more so around how you assess the market sizing of the opportunity, or potentially, doing elements like assessing the unit economics of a example scale up in the space. So really, your slide presentation should, I think, don't have to kind of talk through the dot points specifically, but really, articulate your understanding of what the opportunity is and why it matters, why Queensland is well positioned to win in that space, specific areas that fit well within our direct venture strategy to invest in, and how that can broadly integrate with QIC's other capabilities, partners we can work with along our journey as you think about your ecosystem mapping. And lastly, no investment nor investment strategy in this instance is without its risks and challenges. So taking a good lens to what risks we could face from pursuing this investment strategy, what are the challenges we could face along the way too, but importantly, how you can think about mitigating or managing those challenges along that journey. So yeah, a bit unconventional, but hopefully an exciting case study that you can kind of participate in.
Great, thank you, Hayden. Any questions for QIC?
Hi, Hayden. Thank you so much
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit there. Say again.
Losing
can
a bit.
you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep, that's a bit better.
I was just wondering what's the amount of capital that we have for the investment thesis, like the value of the capital that we can present our thesis on.
Yeah, great question. I'd say present it on 200 million Australian, presented on that basis. And in the context of that, that would be specifically around, the investment for venture capital. And within that mix of the 200 million, you'd think about allocating more of that towards the scale up phase and a smaller portion to startup companies. And as you think about that too, take a lens to what sort of follow-on reserves you'd have as well to support the winners in your portfolio.
And just a follow-up on that, I was just looking at 200 mil as an equity capital and external debt, or that's the entire amount we're looking at?
Just view that 200 mil as essentially what QIC Ventures would have to participate in that strategy.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions for Hayden? No? All right, great. Thank you, Hayden. And I want to make a point before we go on to Soph at TDM, is that as Hayden mentioned, that it is a slightly unusual case. Obviously you guys will be mostly used to doing these stock pitches. We do cast an eye over and make sure we get balance in the cases. So while it's all ultimately on an equal footing when it comes to the marks, and we've been very specific and intentional about making sure that there's equal effort and technical skill required across each of the cases. If it's all equities cases or it's heavily weighted to equities cases, we will look to bring in variety in submission. So don't go with the crowd, go with something, consider challenging yourself beyond the standard stock pitch that you've done a million times before. So you can demonstrate the scope of what you know, as that will be, that's part of what we consider when we pull together the final heats. Thanks, Hayden. And Soph, do we have you on the call yet?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes,
Can you
there
hear
you
me?
are. Thank you. We can hear you. I can't see you yet, though. Can other people see you? Who knows what's happening with this tech tonight? Hayden, can you see Soph?
I can't yet. No.
I'll turn my video on and
Soph,
off.
yeah, look, let's just keep talking, and your voice will matter more than seeing you.
Exactly. I hope so. Well, I actually can't see the slides on the screen, Yolanda, but I might.
I
I've
can
got them
see
on
you
my
now.
Oh, great. I've got them
it.
on my computer, but I might just yell out for when you need to flip to the next one, if that's okay.
Great, no problem. Can
Great.
everybody
Well,
else see are there any other issues with the slides? If I need to jump out and jump back in again, hopefully others can see. We'll be sending them around anyway with the recording of this as well. So let's get started.
Okay, great. Well, hi everyone. My name's Sophia. I am in the investment team at TDM Growth Partners. For a little bit about TDM, I mean, we were founded with the mission to invest in and help scale businesses we're proud of. The way that we like to invest is what we call ownership investing. So we're very actively focused today on a concentrated portfolio of only 10 businesses at any one time, which we're looking to hold for very long periods of time. So, I mean, to walk through kind of the pillars which underpin the way that we invest, we've got a single evergreen fund. We're managing about $3 billion today. And we've got very sticky clients that allow us to invest for as long as our thesis holds true. As I said, we own 10 businesses at the moment, but at any one time, we'll never own more than 15 businesses, which means that we can really focus on understanding those businesses, as best as we can and offering them support, whether that's by going on boards in the private setting or by providing a lot of advice and feedback in the public setting as well. The final and probably most important pillar that underpins our investment thesis is always people and culture. So we believe that people and culture are the key determinant factor in scaling large generational growth businesses. We think it's the most durable competitive advantage that a business can build over the long term. We've been going for 20 years now. We're proud that we've compounded our capital at 25% per annum, which is a north of 90 times return for our initial clients. If we go to the next slide, I mean, where we've tended to focus our energy and attention has been on healthcare, consumer and technology businesses, and there's some examples there on the slide. We've got a very flexible mandate. We can do public and private from the one portfolio, and we can do an Australian and global as well. So as you can see, there's a really broad mix of businesses there, many of which I assume you would have interacted with in your daily lives. So that gets us on to the case study for the Future Impact Comp this year, which is an investment in Life360. So what is Life360? It's a family social networking app which helps families stay connected and safe. It offers real-time location sharing, crash detection, emergency assistance, all through the one mobile app. Some of you might be users of it within your families. I'm not entirely sure. It's dual listed in Australia and the US. It's Californian based, and it's one of the fastest growing businesses in Australia that's publicly listed at the moment. So the job for you is to put yourselves in the shoes of the investment team at TDM, and hopefully that context I provided at the start fills you in on a little bit of how we think about the world. We like to think that we're a little bit different to other investors, just based on the structure of the fund, the types of businesses that we look at, and our kind of very, very long-term holding horizons. So the challenge for you is to do a deep dive into Life360 and decide if this is a business that you would make a recommendation to invest in. That recommendation could be that, yes, we really like the business, but we don't like the valuation today, or no, we really don't like the businesses because of XYZ reasons and therefore wouldn't invest. So it's never really black and white, yes, no, buy, sell. We want you to kind of really grapple with whether you would commit your own capital to buying shares in this business and owning this company potentially for a long period of time. So if you go on to the next page, what I've provided here is just an overview of some of the things that we expect you to include in your presentation. So, I mean, these are all, I'd say, fairly standard, which is an overview of the business model, an assessment of the growth opportunity, an assessment of the competitive advantage, an assessment of people and culture. As I said, that's something that's really important to us, an analysis of the valuation, and then look at any key risks to the business. You'll see in the Word doc of the case study that there's a lot of subcomponents which go beneath each of those investment thesis pillars. I think the key thing there is that we don't want you to treat that list as a checklist. We'd rather you go deeper on a few areas which you think are really critical to the investment thesis. and that actually really move the needle rather than trying to, cover all bases but only having a shallow attempt at all of them. One key part of the case study that we're asking you to do this year is to have an attempt at analysing whether or not Life's 360 has network effects. So network effects are when each incremental user on the platform creates additional value for the other users of the platform, which creates a positive feedback loop for growth. So we want you to do a deep dive on looking into the types of network effects that exist, so researching what network effects are out there and how they impact Fly 360, not just from a growth perspective, but also just diving a little bit deeper into, what areas within the profit and loss statement or other aspects of the business that network effects could lead to results and how they improve Life 360's competitive advantage as well. So again, we really want you to try and think critically around that component. Don't just put it into ChatGPT and hope that you get an outcome. We really want you to apply yourself and show some differentiated thinking around this component of the investment thesis, and hopefully you'll learn a few things along the way around competitive advantage assessment. I think the rest of it is pretty self-explanatory in terms of the key subcomponents. So I'm happy to move to any questions if you have them, having read the pitch document.
Thanks so much, Soph. Any questions? Right, while people think of questions, I'm going to quickly talk to these next steps so I can stop sharing the screen and open up to other questions. So obviously, the case challenge has been released. Your submissions are due on the 29th of August. Unit then has the task of sifting through the top 20, and the top 20 teams that go into the heats will be notified end of day 1st of September. You then have time to, you can edit your submissions for those that get through to the heats ahead of the virtual heats happening on the 4th of September. But we have a deadline for when that has to be completed, those updated submissions provided back to us so we can get the heats judges getting the finals of the 3rd of September. And then the finals are then held at Canaccord Genuity's offices on the 11th of September. So as usual, a really nice tight turnaround and some sleepless nights, no doubt, over the next few weeks and particularly over the weekend to pull together your submissions. There were some questions earlier on about the cases. So the cases and the prizes. So the prizes, if you are a winner, each member of the winning team then negotiates who's going to take up which prize. So that's something that to be discussed with amongst the winning team. So you don't have to select a prize based on who provided the case. Are there any other questions before we wrap up for the night, either for Soph or for me about the comp or for Unit about any of the coordination? Thanks, Mina. Mina, just unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello. Sorry, I'm just using Mina's computer. But
sure.
Yeah, so do we actually need an equity research report for the next DC one? Or is it just the PowerPoint, just to clarify?
It's just the PowerPoint. Everybody will submit a PowerPoint, but as you know, you can jam a hell of a lot on PowerPoints when you're doing these case competitions and providing your modeling. So think of the PowerPoint as your report.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. Jay, was that you asking that question as well, Jay? No? Jay,
yes, it was. So as a group, are we being given a case or are we just picking one of the 6?
Great question. You are picking one of the 6. So a big part of what we always wanted to do at Future Impact was to show you there is so much more to the world of investment management than just equities investing, which isn't to say that the equities cases aren't amazing, but there are so many other opportunities in the industry beyond stock pitches. And so we wanted to give you a real flavour of the different types of ways you can flex your market's muscle and passion by giving you that range. It's why we will, well, of course, we'll get the best submissions getting into the heats. If all of the best submissions were TDM partners, we'd be looking for alternatives to be able to bring in some variety. So keep that in mind, challenge yourself, because we want to look for ways to differentiate the winning team as well, for example. Junie.
Hi. It says in the valuation part of the document that we've given, it says TDM is a long-term investor aiming to compound capital at north of 25% per annum. And it said it looked at it at a 4-year view. So I was just confused, or just clarifying, is it to generate 25% over 4 years or 25% per every year in 4 years?
So we'd be looking at that on a CAGR basis or on an annual basis, 25% per annum.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
Okay, I think Quang was next.
Hi, I just have a question for the case one. I think there's supposed to be a link for the cash flow model, but I couldn't click on the link in the case with PDF.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for that, Quang. We will we're going to resend that around as an actual attachment, and Unit will get that across to you guys tomorrow morning, obviously. Yeah. Thanks so much for pointing that out, though. That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Akshit next.
Yep. Hello. So I had a question. Do we have access to the slides that were shown in this meeting?
Yes, and you'll be sent a recording of the video as well.
Will that be in the next couple of days? Or?
Yeah, it'll be tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning? Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hannah, seen your hand come up, but I can't see you coming up at the top now. Is there a Hannah there that has a question? No? Okay, then I'm going to go to Gia and then William.
Yeah, hi. I just had two quick questions. So the first is that, it says there's 5 streams of 4 teams, but there's 6 cases. So is there no specific allocation for, I don't know, like 3 teams per case or?
Yeah, so no. So you choose your
Okay.
case. It's
Yeah.
all up to you. The idea is to give you a bit of a flavor of all the different ways you can be an investor. You choose your case, and the top 20 cases will go through, and then we will spread the cases around so that we ultimately are able to get, like the best TDM case or the best Schroders case, assuming there's a good balance. So we won't force it for the variety, but we will, if we have, say, what usually happens, let me give you the kind of past experience is we get more applications for often the TDM case or other stock pitches. And then what we will do is we will stack the heats so that we are picking the best of those TDM cases. That's why, or any of the equities cases, that's why if you can differentiate yourself more if you choose something different, like the venture capital, the fixed income, or the Chinese equities case, because we stack it so that we can try to engineer some variety.
Yeah, okay.
While still focusing on the best case.
Yeah, no, of course.
It's always merit with a way to recognize that we're trying to pick the best of the cases that have been submitted.
Yeah, and thank you. And my next question. So it says that we're presenting in front of 3 judges. Are those judges specific to that firm?
No.
Okay.
You'll be presenting in front of senior investment professionals from a range of different organizations, both from the case providers and other firms as well.
Okay, and do we get like a little heads up on who they might be, or?
Yes, we can do that. There's no reason why we can't do that. We allocate that beforehand, but I wouldn't consider that as something that you would need to know. I wouldn't focus on that. I'd be focusing on producing your best case.
Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you.
Pleasure. I don't know where we're going next, but Ro, I think you were next. Ro, then Byron, then William.
Hi. I'm wondering if there's a limit for the slide.
No, there's not a limit for the slide, but there's a limit for time. So you get 10 minutes to deliver your presentation, and you get a knock at 8 minutes, I think it is, or 9 minutes, and then it's like a very loud time to finish at 10 minutes. Unit does all of that, the knocking and the keeping things to time. And then you've got 5 minutes of Q&A. So keep in mind that you want to keep it enough slide. You know, you don't want to do more slides than what you can present in 10 minutes.
Sure. Thanks.
Oh, no worries. Byron.
Hey, how are ya? So I'm a bit late to the call, so sorry if you already answered this question. But again, I noticed we only have 10 minutes to actually present the presentation. So what is expected of us in terms of depth of knowledge compared to like the range of knowledge that we're going to be presenting?
Yeah, good question, Byron. And this is the thing that's extraordinary about the quality of the cases that come through, is that you need to do both, because when it comes to your Q&A, you know, being able to have the depth to have, if one of the investors asks you a question, you need to get across the depth.
Yep.
So you can see, so you're able to answer those questions. And ultimately, it's a balance it's essentially about the quality of your analysis, is what will drive the quality of your recommendation. There is no right answer to any of these questions. And when we did, for example, I think it was GYG that we did last year, wasn't it, Soph? There was like, you know, some said sell, some said buy, and it wasn't about what the recommendation was. It was about the quality of your analysis that is what will set you apart.
Okay, yep, that's perfect. Thank you so much.
No worries. William.
Hey there, just wondering whether the slide deck submission is strictly PowerPoint format or can we do PDFs as well?
You can do, well, you need to present it, right? So you could send us the PowerPoint as a PDF. That's fine. We will then end up, you share your screen to present. So on the heats nights, you will be in control of the screen and sharing your screen in order to be able to present whatever it is that you want to present. Because it is the quality of your presentation is a proportion of those marks, you want to make sure you're using a template, a format that allows you to deliver a quality presentation. PowerPoint or equivalent presentation slide software is arguably the best. But if you have something else that you think is better, then go for it.
Yep, right.
I will just add
There's
on
no
to that.
expectation around that. Yeah.
I'll just add
Right.
on to that, Yolanda, sorry. So the two accepted formats that's allowed on our Google Form submission is just PowerPoint or PDF. So just ideally those two.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Nick. Any other questions? Great questions tonight. I'm glad we've provided the submissions beforehand so you could review them beforehand. All right, if there aren't any other questions, just to recap, we are going to do a bit of an edit for the presentation, particularly the front bit that was being recorded before you all joined on. So you will get tomorrow morning this recording. Thank you so much for all of your patience tonight. That's been the first time I've ever had this freezing as much as it has. So thank you so much for your patience as we've struggled to keep the tech seamless. And thank you for your engagement. This is going to be another fantastic competition. Prizes continue to be amazing, and we can't wait to see what you come up with. Don't forget that whatever effort you put in, that ultimately, if this is the first time you've done a case competition, or it's just great to have a refresh one, the Career Connect platform that we have launched, and I recommend you check that out on our website. The Career Connect platform will give you an ability to upload whatever cases you've done anywhere, including cases that you'll be doing tonight, and using that as a conversation starter with investment professionals across the industry to be able to have that as a way to be able to talk about markets, career opportunities, learn from experts, and demonstrate your passion and expertise. So it's not just about winning, it's not just about getting into the heats or getting into the finals, or indeed winning the finals and getting that internship. It's giving you great content to be able to fuel great career conversations via that online platform that we have just launched. Looking forward to seeing how everything comes together and seeing those heats come through, and good luck over the next few days as you pull together, no doubt, what will be extraordinary presentations as usual. Thanks so much for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you.